Hello YouTube, this is Captain Nav. I hope you are all doing well. Recently one of the viewers asked a couple of questions on one of the videos about the aircraft capability to land itself and perform an Autoland. So I thought I'll make a video on that today, and we are inbound Amsterdam Schipol airport, and we are on base leg for runway 18 right. So I would like to show you a couple of things. First of all, I'll show you how I set up the FMC for the approach. So we're going to departure arrival, ILS 18 right, EH621 intercept course, and then we'll change the course to 183, which is the published course. Check all the details are correct, and the misapproach altitude as well, and execute. We are getting a runway ILS course error because the ILS course in the FSX scenery is 182 degrees, as you can see on the PFD, so it's not a big deal, so we can live with that. So at the moment we are maintaining 5,000 feet, and the ILS is indented on the PFD already, Victor Papa Bravo, and we have a DME of about 19 miles. So we'll start our descent towards 2,000 feet using vertical speed and initiate speed reduction. So we'll go for flaps 1, and like always match the speed. So we'll set 206 knots, and we're just managing the approach gently. Slight heading adjustment 090. Now it's time for the second thing I wanted to show you, how to set the minima. So on the barrow knob in the EFIS panel, you turn it to a radio and press reset, and you've got radio 200 on the PFD. So you turn the knob, which is quite difficult. You see I'm struggling to set it, but basically we try to set it to 50 for a category 3 alpha approach. And once it's set to 50, then we blank the display by pressing reset, and now we are actually ready for a category 3 Bravo approach. If we have an autopilot malfunction and land 2 appears on the PFD, then we can display radio 50 and fly a category 3 Alpha approach as a downgrade from Cat 3 Bravo. So there are two types of approaches: category 3 Alpha with decision height of 50 feet radio and RVR required of 200 meters. And the other type of approach is a category 3 Bravo with no decision height, the reason why there is no minima displayed on the PFD, and RVR of 75 meters. So to fly a Cat 3 Alpha, a Cat 3 Bravo approach, you need to do an Autoland. It is compulsory. Also, some airports are only equipped with ILS Cat 2 approach with decision height of 100 feet radio and an RVR of about 350 meters, depending on the operator's requirements. Cat 2 approaches will be flown as Autoland as well. So don't worry, I will write a summary of all the types of approaches and the various minima and RVR requirements. Today I'm interested in a Cat 3 Bravo approach with no decision height and RVR of 75 meters. Today in the simulator the visibility is 9 kilometers and the cloud ceiling is now a factor. So it is going to be a practice Autoland approach since the weather is not that bad, but I thought it would be nicer for the video. You can fly an Autoland approach with flaps 30 on 2 engines, or flaps 20 or 30 on 1 engine. Flaps 25 is not certified for Autoland approaches. So we are now on intercept heading to the localizer runway 18 right, and we have identified the ILS ident Victor Papa Bravo, and we have localizer and glide slope armed on the FMA. So basically at this stage we are just waiting to intercept the localizer and capture the glide slope. You probably have noticed I'm trying to fly a continuous descent approach, and later on we'll fly somehow low drag approach as well. Low drag approach is just a concept where basically you try to delay as much as possible the extension of the gear and the flaps. So the localizer is alive, and the glide slope is alive, and now localizer capture. So you can see the heading bug, and the heading and the MCP is set automatically to the runway track 182 in this instance, and we're just about to intercept the glide slope, so we'll have achieved the continuous descent approach, no problem. It is perfectly acceptable to fly a CDA even if you are flying a low vis approach. It's totally fine. We now have glide slope capture, and the miss approach 2000 feet is set. So at this stage all we have to do is fly the approach as you would normally. There's nothing different. It's not like the 737 NGX where you have to engage second autopilot. So we'll go for gear down, flaps 20, armed the speed brake, and displayed the landing checklist. Once the gear is down, and we'll confirm with the gear indication on the ICAS and also on the landing checklist, we can go for flap 30 and continue the flap extension on schedule. We don't want to delay the flaps too long in this instance because we need to be stabilized between 1500 feet and 1000 feet. So the landing checklist is now complete. We can check and close the checklist. So at 1500 feet radio altitude, the bottom of the horizon, we should get land 3 and roll out flare armed. Here we are, land 3, roll out flare armed. So that means that the 3 autopilots are now controlling the aircraft, which obviously offers a high level of redundancy. If one of the autopilots failed, you can still fly on Autoland. You'll get land 2 annunciated on the PFD, and you'll still be able to fly a category 3 alpha approach and have a decision height of 50 feet. Hence the reason why we keep 50 feet in the background just in case. So we've now passed 1000 feet, we've got the required RVR, and we can continue the approach. Should we have an engine failure or any problems at this stage, we can continue the approach. The aircraft is perfectly capable of handling the failure. Below 200 feet radio altitude, there would only be 4 failures which would force us to go around. These will be no Autoland, auto throttle, speed brake, and autopilot. So at 200 feet radio altitude, which is our alert height, we'll call 200 and decide if we land or go around. So here we are. 200 landing. So unless we have one of the 4 failures mentioned before, then we are committed to land.
100.
At 50 feet, flare will engage.
50. 40,
And 20
30,
idle.
20. 10.
And once we touch down, rollout will engage. And basically the autopilot will track the localizer to keep the runway center line. We can use the reversers as normal. Auto brake is working normally as well. And at 60 knots, stow the reversers, disarm the auto brake and disengage the autopilot. We are now in charge of the aircraft. So that's it. You can see the aircraft lands beautifully. If you do a landing analysis, you'll see it lands perfectly on the center line, even with a bit of a crosswind as we had on this approach. And then it tracks the runway center line until you can take over yourself. It works very well in all sorts of weather, and is very impressive when you land in minimum visibility. Actually, the aircraft can fly in almost no visibility, since you require only 75 meters. All you would see is one runway light. So I hope you find the video useful and answers some of your questions. If you have other questions, then please let me know and write them down in the comment section. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you want to see more similar content, then please subscribe. You can also have a look at the Facebook page. The link is in the description below. As you can see with this video, I'm quite open to suggestions. So if you have a suggestion, then please let me know, and I'll try my best. So that's it for today. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. Take care for now, and I will see you soon.